Hey everybody, so I got my little hair in pin curls because my curls don't last. So I literally have to kind of do something with it so that it lasts a little bit longer. But yeah, I came out here because I've been watching other people's content, trying to kind of feel my way through. But I was just talking to one of the ladies that I've pretty much known most of my life, since I was like a teenager. Basically, she's been doing my hair or whatever, and so like she's been going through some issues with this house that she's been in, and I just asked that y'all pray for her family, that everything works out how God wants it to work out. The people who own the house finally gave her the deed, but with that came consequences, and so now she only has a couple of days to try to come out with some money. And as black people, we don't never have no money like on deck. Like it just don't be readily available like that. Like we have to work to save it up or do something not so good to try to come up with, a solution. But I said, there's been so much that has happened. Like she lost her son during the pandemic, lost some other cousins and family members throughout this period. We're just now, retouching, catching up, because I've been working so much, school, this, that, and the other. So I was just like, man, that's so freaking wild that, we can't just have some money ready and be like, I got you. Or, or let me see if I can, help with something. But it's like, it's so high that, like, my little funds won't do nothing. So she created a GoFundMe page. I told her to send me the link and I would try to share, the link and everything like that. But it's so hard to, you know, get help for real. Like if you need help with school, like nobody wants to help you with that because they feel like, well, then nobody helped me and this and that. Or the ones that, got the help, got full rides to school, like they don't, want to like give the secret of how they were able to get a scholarship to pay their way through. Some of them I do know are on sports and they get scholarships that way: basketball, track, stuff like that, tennis, hockey, baseball, softball, stuff like that. Like those, yeah, you can get scholarships and probably a full ride at whatever school that you are going to, especially if you're gonna play on that team. Um, but it's just so hard for us, and it saddens me that like we have to go through losing and trying to gain and then losing again. You know what I'm saying? Like I've been there. I done lost a lot of things. I've lost in my credit. I've lost in things that I held dear to me. I've lost and had to restart over several times in my short lived life. I've had to work multiple jobs, having to be dependent and having to be really responsible and really mature at a young age. Like I couldn't depend on my dad. I couldn't depend on my mom, for certain things. Like, yeah, my mom, she provided, no problem. But it was certain things that she just didn't have the money for. She couldn't just be like, go in her bank account and say, here you go, Nina. I got you. And so we have to, as black people, have to get in a state of mind to say, okay, I gotta, put this back. I have to, not spend on this. Does that make sense? Why are we doing this? Can we wait on this? Stuff like that. Like even say for the house and getting different things remodeled on the house. And I have looked at several options. I've looked at trying to get it painted. I've looked at, changing the siding and, of course, getting the prices to make sense to me. And then my, decision making is really hard because it's always something else, or because you're a woman, now they're going to take advantage of you, or because you don't have the certain knowledge of how to fix a home up, now people just want to say anything to make it seem like it's the right way to do it. So this one guy we had came out a couple of weeks ago, and he basically, my mom was at the house and I was at work, so he basically took pictures. So when he sent the quote, to my email, I was like, "This is a down payment for a house. Like, what are we like? What are we doing?" So, in my mind, I'm like, I know for a fact that the siding don't cost that much. Like, you're charging, you just overcharging just to be overcharging because you can, because you're using somebody else's, name brand. So, like, it ended up being like 30 some thousand. So, I have another one that's supposed to come tomorrow. Hopefully, it's a little less than that. And, I said, look, I even go buy the material. But what I'm not going to do is you're not about to charge me a whole arm and a leg for this work. That's what you're not going to do. Like, I've already priced how much it would cost if I just went to Home Depot and got just the siding for the house. It's about $3,000 for the type of siding I would like to, put on my home. But it's like trying to get somebody to like come and do the work and do it right, and not just half do something. You know what I'm saying? Half do the work and then you still gotta have somebody else come fix it. Like, no, we don't. Like I have found this one guy who was gone, spray painted and everything like that, and then, like he MIA. So then I was just like, okay, let me find somebody else. Same way with the guy who like remodeled my, say, bathroom, kitchen, the flooring in my living room, kitchen, and hallway, bathroom. Like, he just went MIA. I'm like, what? So a lot of the connections that I had because of my ex, like a lot of them just kind of fell off. Like, they just was like, yeah. And maybe because how he presented himself, where it seemed like he had a lot of money. Like, he was a ordinary person, but because he had the language and talk and how he dressed and how he presented himself to people, like, people just flocked to him like that. Like, there was no, no hesitation. Oh, okay. And he would argue around with him and get what he wanted for, a cheap amount or a reasonable price. I wouldn't say cheap, but it's a reasonable price because the material was not cheap. Like, we bought a lot of the material and we had somebody, install it, but he had those connections. He, looked, he was always like the looker and finding different, people who did decent jobs, and so to just go from that to, now it's just me doing it, me and my mom, basically. And so a lot of stuff that they do with women, they don't do with men. Like, they just don't. Men they don't settle for the first price and this and that. Like, I'm not the first person that settles for a price. I definitely will research or try to research more than one person to get a quote and see and compare and see what they have to offer, how the services is, what the reviews look like. But when I say, just in general, just to get, say, the roof and the windows in itself, like, I already spent, about 20 right there, even though I'm financing for the roof. But it's like, that's a lot of money that I don't have. And I wish I wish that in my younger self that I was able to save a little bit more money, but back then, like, you had to be 21, you couldn't be 18. Certain accounts, you, like, basically your parent had to be over it in order for you to, like, get established or started. So that was hard because I wasn't staying with my mom. I was, in college. I'm, trying to survive, doing what I can to make ends meet with what I had while trying to, like, study and, pass my classes. Like, grades was like, you get this A, okay, cool. Financial aid, keep going. You don't get this A, baby, listen, it's cut off so quick, and it's so real. You be like, but God, listen, and God be like, you didn't do what they told you to do. So now it get cut off, and now you got to figure all this out and some extra. On top of it, now you paying out of pocket. Now you spend even more money that you don't have. Now you going through your savings, and the little savings that you did have, now that you going through that so quickly, it's like unreal. So I was like, you know what? I don't know. But I do know that God always have our backs, always do things for a reason. But I think that she deserves to have this house. I think that, any little thing, any little bit helps at this point. Whether it's $1, $5, $20, $100, if you got it, $50. Like, it would be so nice to have that within 30 days. Because she really don't even have that many days left. She literally just got the deed, and had it came earlier, she could have, not been in this situation. But because of the person being so adamant and not wanting to just give the deed up, that just caused more problems on top of more problems for no reason. And I just don't understand that, like, how people, black people at that, like to hold on to stuff when other people can do something with it. Don't get mad because I can invest and I can make some money off of this property. You're not doing nothing with it. You're older now. Like, let it go. What you gonna do with it? Because when if something happens to you, it's gonna just sit there. Like, make it make sense. And then you got family that want to be jealous and all this extra stuff and don't want to help out when they have the opportunity to help out and make it easier. They don't want to do that. They want to, spend and do what they want to do. That's why, being in your singleness is so important. Because when you get into relationships, in my experience, when you get into relationships, you still on your own. So you gotta be good in or out of a relationship. And I tell my friends that all the time. Like, it's okay to allow the man to do certain things, but don't depend on him on everything. To the point that if something happened to you, or something happened to him, and nobody know how to run this business. Nobody knows how to take care of the bills. Nobody knows how to do anything. They always depend on you to do it. Sometimes you have to be able to learn how to do it, show that person how to do it, then they can show you how to do it. That's how you can be on the same page. So if something does happen to either of you, now you can, piggyback off of each other. Or if you got kids, now you can train them kids to know how to run the business, know how to be responsible. Just little bits and pieces. You don't have to do everything all at once. And then teach them how to save some money. Don't just, every time you see Jordans or the first, set of shoes from a basketball player, or, some Nikes, or, I got to get that outfit. No, teach them what value means. Like, this is not important. This is literally materialistic things, stuff that you want. What is it that you need that you can get through your day, how to survive? that week, that month, that year. Teach them the right things to do so that you don't, be wasting time. So when you do get older, they know about life insurances. They know about what a car insurance look like. They know what, how to pay bills look like. People is out here don't have no kind of insurances on stuff. Then if something happened to you, now everybody looking crazy. Stop doing that to yourselves. Learn how to educate yourself. Go to seminars. Go to trainings to, be more aware of what is going on. Like, really educate yourself. Because when you don't, you will get left behind so quickly. And the way this technology is running, baby, listen. Ain't nobody nobody's gonna be able to keep up with it, because then the robot's gonna take over, and then ain't nobody gonna be working or doing nothing. So like I said, I just came out here real quick to just to talk about the things that we fall short on as people, especially black people. Like, we really lack in areas that it's like unreal. There should be money set aside to be able to be like, you know what, I got it. No problem. Especially if they are deserving of it. Especially when they don't work their butt off for it. Especially when they have did everything that they could in their power to basically keep this house. And this other person just want to be so adamant and so, I don't know, angry or jealous, or just want to just be trifling about it. Like, stop. Don't do that. If this other person said they can take care of the stuff, let them do it. Just take it as an L and keep it moving. But we don't do that. We just be twirling our thumbs trying to figure it out. And then by the time it gets to the end, it's too late. Now we can't do nothing. Just sit there and hope that somebody just be generous to be like, here go $50,000, or here go money for your tuition, or here go a down payment for you a car. It don't come like that. I know. You can be so positive about things, and then it just still seem like it just fall through the cracks. Like what you asked for just got missed or something. Trust and believe. I done had my share of some mishaps, some things that I done missed in life, some issues. I still have issues. I do not know what life look like in the next 2 or 3 years from now. I know what I hope it can look like, but I know at the end of the day, it's still God's plans. So until next time, ciao.